This man with cerebral palsy is the owner of a factory, earning 10 million yuan a year, and even Bai Yan Song chased after him for a photo.
我能跟您合个影吗？
可以啊，
But in private, there are still people who curse him.
他连狗都不如，有可能我就是外星人。
Lu Hong owns a special factory, and among its 43 employees, more than 30 are people with disabilities. Wang Ting, known as the factory beauty, is almost completely blind, yet when she works, she is even faster than a machine. Lu Zilong, whose name differs from Zhao Zilong by only one character, has a disability in his right hand, and relies only on his left hand to type more than 80 characters in 1 minute. Lao Wu, nicknamed Guan Yu, uses 2 crutches like 2 big sabers. He can barely walk steadily, yet he is the technical backbone of the factory. This man who keeps smiling at the camera is their boss.
我现在在公司里就是担任一把手。
At the age of 1, because of a fever, Lu Hong's cerebellum was damaged, and from then on, his limbs and facial expressions were no longer under his control. He walked like a penguin, and whenever he started talking, his head would sway back and forth. Every time he walked on the street, he would attract the stares of passers-by.
我也问我妈妈，我说你为什么大家都在看我啊？然后我妈妈说他们喜欢我。
When he was a child, his mother could still protect him with kind lies. But once he reached school age, the endless mocking and gossip from his classmates made life extremely painful and humiliating for Lu Hong.
我每次到教室里面，全体同学都会模仿我。
What was even more infuriating was that the teacher also looked at him with prejudice.
就我每次体育课，老师都不让我上，我就感觉更难受，我就想站在桌子底下。
Gradually, the once outgoing Lu Hong became very withdrawn, because every time he opened his mouth he would be mocked by his classmates, and he did not even dare to speak. He tried many times to drop out of school, but his mother firmly refused. You are a person with a disability. If you don't study, what can you do? At that time, he truly hated this world.
我埋怨天，埋怨地，连我妈妈我都埋怨，为什么要生我下来呢？
That year, Lu Hong was admitted to high school, but his parents insisted that he go to a vocational secondary school instead, saying that the job would be assigned after graduation. In the end, not a single company wanted to hire him after he graduated, and they even insulted him with harsh words.
当着你的面说的吗？说了什么？
说的太难听了。
没关系，你可以说。
好，然后那负责人就跟我妈妈跟我说：“你看看你儿子这副样子，我养一条狗都比养他要好多了，他连狗都不如。”
After many twists and turns, Lu Hong went to his uncle's factory to learn how to hammer iron sheets. In order to save 10 yuan in bus fare, he pushed himself to learn to ride a bicycle for the first time in his life. Although he often fell and ended up with his head bleeding, to his surprise, riding 50 kilometers every day miraculously trained his ability to control his body.
练出来什么了？
就是现在这样了，原来比如说走路像企鹅，现在走路像帅哥了。
When he first arrived at the factory, everyone called him an idiot, but Lu Hong was not angry. In his spare time, he taught himself how to draw technical diagrams, and even the veteran masters in the factory began to look at him with new respect. Gradually, he went from being the nameless idiot to becoming Little Lu Master, and once became quite the star in the factory. Lu Hong was very content. He no longer hated this world, and finishing his work every day, and then riding his bike home became the happiest part of his life. 2 years later, when the factory was not doing well, Lu Hong resigned and prepared to go out on his own. His business journey started with a small stall repairing bicycles. Although business was not good, it was there that he met the person who would change his life.
你说的这个他是谁？
我老婆，然后也是这个时候把我老婆给骗了手。
Lu Hong fell in love at first sight with Chunmei, a healthy woman who ran a small stall next to his. One person repaired bikes, the other sold vegetables. Every day before dawn, Lu Hong would go to the market early to hold a spot for her, and in return, Chunmei would bring him breakfast every day. Day after day, their feelings slowly grew deeper.
那个时候你知道他自己身体上的疾病，
知道。
你准备怎么面对这样的一个人？
我感觉他这个人蛮老实的，也蛮实在的，也蛮会体贴的。
One year after they met, Chunmei married Lu Hong despite strong opposition from others. Lu Hong lived up to expectations. The very first shop he opened after their marriage made money. But he was not satisfied with just that, and quickly used his first pot of gold to open a small supermarket, a newsstand, an internet cafe, and several other shops, altogether 6 storefronts, and life kept getting better.
6家店同时开，
对，这个时候呢，我才感觉到挣钱那么少。
但你怎么保证这些事儿一定不会赔钱？
其实我没有保证，但是我老婆能帮我，因为我老婆我干什么事情，她永远不反对，永远都支持我。
他对你这么信任，
但是有一点，她是特别埋怨我。
In 2005, on the day his younger male cousin got married, Lu Hong made a digital photo album for him to play at the wedding. But before it even finished playing, a photographer had already come over to find him. After seeing what he looked like, the photographer simply could not believe that the digital album was made by him. But he still decided to give Lu Hong a chance.
他说婚礼录像你会做吗？其实我不会做，但是我不服气嘛，我就说我会做。
So the photographer handed over all the footage shot that day at the wedding to Lu Hong. Once he got home, Lu Hong panicked. He had to learn and do at the same time, and studied it for 3 days and 3 nights straight.
然后给那个摄影师一看，他都笑得合不拢嘴。
你形容一下你做的这样的一个样品。
挺豪华的吧。
Later, Lu Hong shut down the small supermarket, the newsstand, the phone booth, and the internet cafe, and, under the guidance of the photographer, devoted himself completely to editing wedding videos. Because of his outstanding performance, more and more customers came back, and in 1 year he earned over 100,000 yuan. Soon after, he opened a photo studio as well, and business was booming. It originally seemed that Lu Hong's cheat mode life had begun, but in the following year he stumbled badly. A friend introduced him to a new opportunity, and Lu Hong invested more than 400,000 yuan of real money to buy machines, planning to go into the photo album business. But in less than a year after opening, he was schemed against by his business partner and pushed out of the factory. Everyone thought that Lu Hong had been completely cheated, but he was still stubbornly unwilling to hate that person.
我觉得他肯定是我的恩人，而不是我的仇人。为什么呢？在他这个1半年多的，他让我学会了好多知识。这个知识远远超过这个知识以外。最让我明白一点，仇恨永远解决不了问题。
At the most critical moment, his wife took out 200,000 yuan of her secret savings, and his mother-in-law vacated her own house for them. With his wife's encouragement, Lu Hong decided to start over again. After 3 years of hard work, Lu Hong's photo album workshop, which had started as a home workshop with only 1 machine, gradually developed into a formal enterprise with 42 employees. In the online world, he felt completely in his element.
网络能让我跟顾客轻松的交谈，不会让他们感觉到是在跟一个残疾人在聊天，他们只感觉好像我是在跟一个成功企业家聊天。
With the efforts of Lu Hong and his wife, the company kept growing better and better. However, in private there were still people who looked down on him. One employee said that he only came to work here because Lu Hong was disabled, and that he was just helping out as a kind of charity.
我就听得很不爽，我是残疾，但是你们来干活，我给你们工资一分不少，待遇也不差。
Lu Hong realized that there would always be a gap between so-called normal people and people with disabilities. So from then on he gave priority to hiring people with disabilities. Lu Qiuhui, a man with cerebral palsy, was very bold during the interview, claiming that he could do anything on the computer. But once he started, he didn't even recognize the letters on the keyboard, and when asked to fold paper boxes, he couldn't fold them either. The next day he quietly went to operate the paper cutter again, and Lu Hong directly told him he couldn't do the job, but it seemed that Lu Qiuhui didn't hear him, and he stood there cutting paper from 8 in the morning until 8 at night.
切怎么样？我真的给他问得无语了。但是从这3天下来，我感觉他的人不错。
What surprised people was that, under Lu Hong's tolerance and encouragement, these people whose bodies seemed imperfect, through constant training, actually developed working abilities that even surpassed many normal people. Every month, the time he felt happiest was when he paid his employees.
我每个月发工资，发给小伙伴，他们都朝我笑，哎呦，我感觉太开心了。
On his daughter's birthday, the usually homebound Lu Hong, for once, took the child out to eat at KFC. At the table across from them sat a young couple, who looked decent enough, but whose words were anything but decent.
说对面的傻子吃肯德基，我吃不下，说你能不能把他赶走？我是真的没有带我女儿吃过肯德基，我也很珍惜这次机会。我说我就在这吃，他突然摔了我一个耳光，他说你去不去？我说不去，他又踹了我一脚。
This incident made Lu Hong feel depressed for several days. From idiot, to little Lu master, to boss Lu, it had taken Lu Hong a full 20 years. All he wanted was, on a sunny day, to take his family out to have a nice meal. But with all his years of experience, he adjusted himself quickly.
也能理解，对面搞了一个张牙舞爪的一个傻男人，是吧？是真的影响心情，理解万岁。
During the pandemic, the factory was forced to shut down for a time, and all the workers stayed at home. Alone in the empty factory, Lu Hong still insisted on paying everyone's wages, and in the end he held out until work resumed, and new orders came in. He finally turned things around on Double 11, and the annual turnover reached 14 million yuan. While others were losing money, he actually earned twice as much as before. Lu Hong was very happy that his family could live a bit better, but what was most precious was that he never forgot the employees who had fought alongside him. He raised wages, built dormitories for employees who had no place to live, and even worried about their marriages and their retirement. For some people with disabilities who applied but could not be hired, he and his wife would still contact local organizations to help them solve their real-life difficulties. He remembered that at companies where he had worked before, bosses most often told employees to be grateful to the company and grateful to the boss, saying that they were like second parents who had given them a bowl of rice to eat. But on this point, Lu Hong had a very different view.
好多人说好像是我帮助了好多残疾人，其实我听到这里我感觉挺酸。我今年营业额1000万，900万属于他们，真的没有他们就没有我今天，真我是特别感恩的。
That year on Double 11, Jack Ma invited Lu Hong to attend an event, and for the first time, he bought himself a new suit and took a photo that he was very happy with. That same year, their factory was also rated as an excellent entrepreneurship base. Lu Hong's story reminds me of a saying from an ancient Greek philosopher. In this life, we step onto a stage we did not choose, and perform a script we did not write. We cannot decide our birth. We cannot decide our intelligence or our appearance. And we certainly cannot decide which benefactors we will meet in our life. We often envy other people's scripts, but in reality, we can only do our best to act out our own. If, in your own life, you have truly encountered setbacks like these, then I'm sorry, but you only have two choices. One is to quit the performance, and the other is to do your best to perform the script you have been given.
但是我们傻得很可爱。
In this life, Lu Hong has gone through so much: mockery, humiliation, rejection, and misunderstanding. Some people said he wasn't even as good as a dog. Some people hit him in public, cursed him, and looked down on him. But with 20 years of his life, he told everyone, the wounds that fate gives you can make you fall, or they can turn you into light. He did not complain about heaven and earth. He did not give up on himself. Instead, He stood up again and again, turning the word idiot into a medal on his chest. He gave people with disabilities jobs, gave his employees a home, and let countless ordinary people see that courage has nothing to do with appearance, and dignity has nothing to do with the body. So, if you're also being pushed forward by life, being denied by others, or being crushed so hard by reality that you can't lift your head, please remember Lu Hong. You cannot choose your opening scene, but you can always choose your ending. Life is not about what you possess, but about who you become by holding on until the end. If you have also been moved by his story, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your voice. See you in the next episode.